You know, within the Roblox Doors Floor 2 update, the like engagement record shows that many players within the community actually didn't like the newest update. There are many reasons why players aren't happy with the new features, but what exactly are they? Well, these are the 7 most hated things about Doors Floor 2. What did you dislike about the update? You better like and subscribe, or else I'll tell the developers to delete the whole game. Number 1, the difficulty. It goes without mention, when Roblox Doors came out with Floor 1 2 years ago, the difficulty was just about perfect. Sure, some players died a lot during the beginning stages of the game, but every time that they did, they were able to progress further and further into the game. But when Doors Floor 2 dropped, things completely changed. Not only was there a massive difficulty spike featuring much higher entity spawns, and also sooner within the game, some people meeting entities such as Halt as soon as Door 101. You also had entities such as Screech being able to spawn in the whole entire floor, even during major events such as dealing with Figure or even with the final boss Seek Entity at the end. Things got so bad that nearly everyone from the community were demanding for changes to be made for the game, and while the developers did ultimately listen and has nerfed the difficulty significantly just a few days after the update. Number 2, Giggle. Everyone used to hate on Screech, especially since that little slime ball could jump scare players a lot, but now there's a new king in town when it comes to the community disliking it the most. Of course, it's gotta be Giggle. Not only does the entity look very similar to Screech, but its mechanics is what is triggering the Roblox community. You need something in the very least in order to temporarily blind the entity, or else he will latch onto your face and eat up a good portion of your health in the process. The worst part is when they spawn above walking paths in which you have to take in order to even progress through the game. If you don't have any flashlights or glow sticks, you're pretty much out of luck then. Many within the community seem to hate it, especially since they simply find the entity annoying. You sometimes wonder why they're laughing at us so much, and when they will ever be quiet. Oh wait, I just remembered. It's so satisfying whenever you crucify one with the crucifix. Number 3, glitches. Obviously, whenever major new updates drop for any game, there are going to be a ton of glitches and bugs to be associated with the release, and Doors Floor 2 was no exception to that. Many players within the community did hate the major glitches though, which included sloppy room generations leading to mysterious brown slimy blocks to spawn in front of doors and causing them to soft lock players. With Floor 2, you pretty much had nearly every glitch within the whole entire spectrum, from entities glitching out such as the Halt entity to even being stuck outside of the mines outside of the playable zone. Arguably the most hated one of all was the one where if players tried to revive during the Seek chase, they would then get stuck within the minecart right before door 150, causing them to lose a revive in the process in most cases. Honestly, the glitches are endless, and we already talked about the major ones on another video, but it sure didn't do good for the community when they came about. Number 4, Figure. Of course, within the update, the developers ended up upgrading the AI system for Figure, and now the entity is as overpowered as ever. Many people within the community are hating the fact that he can now hear what players are doing, as the entity will quickly head over to their location in order to catch them. Before the update, if you held items or even opened up drawers, the entity would not really care and continue on its walkable path. But currently, players do complain that the new Figure can even hear the opening drawers now. It does make it more difficult than it used to, but many more folks just dislike the new walking AI system, as the entity now hugs walls more than ever, and even sometimes camps, preventing players to continue on. The new AI is now also able to walk into the breaker room in order to catch players within there, and there's just many more reasons why players currently hate the revamped entity. Now, it is good to see that the developers did listen to the community and did apply some nerfs, such as moving back and removing one of the generator rooms. But the core issues for the entity do still exist to this day. Number 5, door 150. Of course, possibly the biggest thing the Doors community hates is just how tiring and difficult Door 150 really is. We did mention that Door 150 does have 2 floors to the entire map, and there can be as many as 3 to 4 grumbles patrolling around at all times. But more specifically, really hate the grumble entity. While the grumble mechanic itself isn't really that difficult early on, it starts to get more noticeably difficult towards the ending anchors. Players hate the fact that many grumbles are able to camp within certain parts of the map, and players are experiencing the bulk of the time in Doors Floor 2 to be actually spent within Room 150, as it's taking normal players upwards of 20 to 30 minutes just in order to get past this single room. For some, it took getting to Room 150 8 times, and they're still not able to get past to finish the floor. Perhaps if the developers removed a grumble, it would make things easier, especially since the developers haven't really touched Room 150 within the latest mini update, which still leads to many complaints and hate on this room to this day. Number 6, Minecart. Now, when the developers dropped their teaser trailers several months ago, they did tease that the minecart would actually oof players, and at first, we thought it was a really cool feature, but fast forward to the Mines update dropping, the mechanic has not been received as well. The biggest problem of this is due to the amount of trolls being able to sabotage players within the public servers, effectively ruining runs and games due to the collisions being enabled. It's gone so bad that players have to specifically note to not push the minecart into other players, as it's a pretty big issue at the moment. One simple solution for this really: have a separate elevator for those who don't want friendly fire minecarts to be added. Number 7, Door 200. Of course, since floor 2 is already very difficult, the ending of the floor must be where all the difficulty ramps up to, right? Maybe not the difficulty, but the annoyingness can be said within the community. Many within the community are hating the fact that you can simply fall into Seek's goop, and the mechanic is intended to just damage you temporarily, forcing you to jump outside of it. But with how some of the models are being placed around the entity, you could actually get stuck in the goop, causing a game over. Another major glitch that does happen with the entity is that he doesn't actually give you a heads up when some of the hands do come up. I can see how this can be annoying, and it is related to the glitch portion of the video. Before the nerf, there was also another generator puzzle that players had to find while dealing with the entity itself. And honestly, we've mentioned that it just further delayed the ending with no real benefit to the storyline. Sure, there are some glitches when it comes to the hands and whatnot, but it's nice to see that it's not being hated on as much as Door 150 and their grumbles. What did you dislike about the update though? Like and subscribe and take care.